that group, because you guys weren't just a team. You had that Ozzie, Vince, Willie, Terry. You guys were really like brothers, weren't you?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. You know, we keep up with each other to this day. It was just special. Vince and I came in together. We were drafted the same year. We were roommates in the minor leagues, and then getting the opportunity to come to the big leagues. You know, we were drafted in '82, and we got to sit in the Structural League and watch our team win the World Series. You know, that fired you up as a young pup even more. But to get to the big leagues and play with these guys who are great players and learn from them, learn what to do and what not to do and how to do it and how to become a real professional. For Ozzie and Willie to do that for us was something special for us.
You were on scholarship all year with Ozzie. He took care of you, right?
Yeah, they both did, actually. Ozzie and Willie both did. There's no doubt about that. You know, Willie actually grabbed me one day. I was staying at the hotel across the street, you know. And Willie grabbed me one day and says, "Hey, you're no longer staying in the hotel anymore. I got a bedroom, it's got your name on it. I got a phone hooked up for you. It is all yours, and there's no maybe, no. You get your stuff, get in the car, we're going." You know, so that was the type of stuff they did for us, and they made sure. Willie told me one thing. He says, "Listen, the car is yours. There's an extra key. All I ask of you is that the car has gas in it." And lo and behold, we woke up one Sunday morning, roll into the ballpark, and we leave the ballpark, and I look at the gauge, and it's like, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble here. Luckily, we made it to a gas station, but he probably won't tell you this, but I got a speech the whole way, the whole entire way.
Speaking of him, that year with 18 triples and the 353 average, have you ever seen any baseball player better in a single year?
No, not with the combined stats that he put on the board. That is something a lot of people don't understand. Nobody talks about it. Willie in 1985 won the National League MVP and was silent. He did it quietly, you know. And folks they'll look up and go, "Wow, Willie McGee won an MVP award?" That's how quiet he did it. But he did it with every day. Every day there was something new. There was something special. You know, being able to hit behind Vince and Ozzie and be able to drive in a few runs and get the opportunity to just go out and showcase the Willie McGee that we all knew, it was something special to watch.
I remember that year, even though you didn't win it all. It's such a frustrating end, but such a magical ride. Like, fans still talk about the '85 team, even though around here a lot of them are World Series winning years. It wasn't, but how do you remember that season?
Well, first of all, I remember ending the '84 season. You know, we weren't very good when I got here in July. We weren't very well. I wouldn't say we weren't very good. We hadn't put things together. And after the All-Star break, we started playing a little better baseball, and we finished third in the division. And we played better baseball. Basically, we were a better team, and we got together and started playing better. And I remember coming in the next year and us looking around, and me still being a youngster, staying out of the way, doing what I'm supposed to do, not saying but listening, watching the guys, the way they went about doing their spring training. That was my first big league spring training in 1985. But just watching the way they went about it and how they prepared themselves, how we needed to prepare to win, how we went about trying to win. I think we opened the season, I want to say, in New York. And they probably handed it to us early. I don't even remember, to tell you the truth, but there's a good chance they did. But we knew we were a better baseball team. We absolutely knew that. And then to have John Tudor come in and do what he did in '85, not the first half, the second half of the season, it just gelled. We knew we were a good baseball team. We knew we were the best, in our minds, the best defensive baseball team in baseball. So we knew we weren't going to beat ourselves defensively. I don't know if we ended up that way, but in our minds, we were the best defensive team in baseball. So that helped us, and we knew we were going to have to scrap to get runs because Jack Clark was a big bopper. And the only way we were going to put quick ones on the board were to get on for him, and hopefully he hits one and make it quick for us. But we knew we could wreak havoc. And when we traded Lonnie Smith, and when Vince Coleman came up and we traded Lonnie Smith, like I said, I've known Vince since 1982. I knew what Vince Coleman brought to the table, absolutely knew what he brought to the table. And I knew it was going to be something special for us, and I knew it was going to help the rest of our hitters who hit behind him, because with him out there, they're going to see a lot more fastballs than they did before, and I knew we could hit a fastball.
Terry, how long did it take you to get over 1985, or are you over it yet?
No,
It's like, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I honestly, I keep getting reminded of it, at different times. People ask you, well, did you play in the young kids, did you play in World Series? Oh, you had to bring those up, huh? You really did. So it is tough. The memories stay with you. It doesn't define who you are, but they stay with you. There are times you wish you can go back, and I remember Whitey Herzog, I'll never forget this. He said, I have one regret in baseball. And he said, my regret was not pulling my team off the field in that World Series and make them get it right. And I know at that point, it was a tough thing for all of us to swallow. But, baseball and baseball history. But, yeah, it's honestly, it still lives with you. As a competitor, and the competitive spirit I still have in me, it still lives with me.
I think Whitey invited Dinkinger back the 20-year reunion. What did that say about Whitey? Did that provide any closure at all? Or
I don't know
peace?
if there'll ever be closure to that. I mean, there's peace in it. There's no doubt. I mean, Dinkinger's human. He's going to make mistakes. For me, they're part of the game. Umpires are part of the game. I think instant replay is taking that away from them. I like the fact of human error. And to this day, I feel like we lost the 85 World Series because of human error. But to this day, I still regret the instant replay in the game, just because I think the umpires in the game are so important. And that's what made it so special. People come to the ballpark to see a manager and umpire argue over something too. That's part of. I feel like that's part of baseball.
You think he turned the page quick enough after that Game 6? I mean, if you had to look back in hindsight, or is it a case, hey, if John Tudor's sharp, we're going to win Game 7? I mean, was it handled properly?
It was. I don't know if you can say handled properly. I think emotionally, from my own perspective, I can't speak for the rest of our team, it was tough. That was my first major league full season. It was tough. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before it all took place, before Game 7. But you can see it in us. It was tough. It was really tough to overcome.
Terry, we talked a lot about the style of play around this team, just in baseball in general. Does Whitey ball still have a place in the game? Could it still succeed in the modern game?
I think Whitey ball would take over this game right now, to be totally honest with you. That's just my own personal opinion. We've got so many teams going out trying to hit the 3-run homer, and by then we're up 2-0, 3-0, and the 3-run homer never comes. For us, at our stage, we were putting the ball in play. Now a lot of teams, and nothing against all these teams, but there's a lot of strikeouts going on in the game. And for us, we put the ball in play. We made you play defense. I think sometimes guys on the field now are looked at for their offense and not necessarily their defense. So you'll have guys out playing different positions, even on the infield, that don't have range to catch the baseball, but they're hitting the ball, and can't hit the ball at the ballpark. So that's looked at more so to me than defense is. So I think with Whitey ball, if you brought that back in the game, it would be tough for a lot of teams to win, especially because we pitched and played defense. You look at it, there are a couple of teams in the game I'm not going to name, but there are a couple of them that play the game and will bunt on you and will do some things to help make their team successful. And you guys in this division will see one, or you've seen one that does it a lot. And they're where they are now because of what they do. But I just think Whitey ball would still be special in this game because of the talent.
Terry, did you see him as a guy that was ahead of his time? A lot of people talked about he could see the ninth inning in the fifth inning, that sort of thing, and he would see concepts that other people didn't see.
Well, Whitey was 2 or 3 innings ahead of everybody else. There's no doubt about that. You sit in the dugout. Here's the other thing I loved about Whitey Herzog. We'd be in the 4th, 5th inning, and I remember doing it one day. He was never like you could mention stuff to him in the game. I walked down to him. We're in the 4th or 5th inning. We're getting our butts handed to us like 6-2 in the 5th, and I walked down and asked him. He pinch hit John Morse. And Whitey was the type of manager, you can walk down the middle of the game and ask him questions why he did what he did. He didn't have any qualms with that. A lot of managers would be pissed off thinking you're trying to manage. And Whitey wanted you. He wanted you to do these things because that means you're in the game. You're trying to figure it out and learn it. And it's less for him to have to teach you. So I walked down and asked him, I said, Whitey, why in the world are you pinch hitting one of our best pinch hitters, John Morris, in the 4th inning? I think we're in the 4th inning. And he looks at me, called me Pindy. He goes, Pindy, look down there in that bullpen. We were at home here. Look down there in that bullpen. I look over there, and he goes, you see those guys down in that bullpen? I go, yeah. He goes, John Morris can't hit none of them. he goes, he absolutely can't hit any of them. I look down there and he says, now on the other hand, he said, I got Kurt Ford down there waiting on them, so we'll be fine. If we get there, we'll be fine. And I said, thank you very much, and went back and sat down. But that was Whitey. That was a part of him. That's who he was. You know, you have managers in our day, even in our day, would have gotten pissed off or upset because, oh, you're trying to manage the team now. Whitey was not that way. He wanted you to be in the game. He wanted you to ask questions. And he would tell you, you know, in different games, he'd go, hey, fellas, you know, we're in the 5th now, you know, at the 7th inning. He goes, the first 6, you guys can do whatever you want to do. But the 7th inning on is mine, so you better do what you're going to do. Now, he literally tell you that. Yes, no doubt.
Terry, going back to Willie for a second, you described it as sort of like quiet, like people don't even really remember the impact he had that season. Why do you think that is, considering the numbers he put up, the World Series team? How did that fly under the radar somewhat?
Because Willie's Willie. You know, it's not going to be a lot of rah-rah. He can hit a 3-run home run to walk us off, and you wouldn't know it. You watch him run around the bases like he was hitting a triple, you know, and he'd come in and shake everybody's hand like this, head down. Oh, it was just Willie. That's just who he is. He doesn't want any of the accolades for doing what he did. And I think that's what made him special also. He just flew under the radar and he did his thing just like this. There were no ups and downs. And if there were some ups and downs, usually when you saw Willie, there was no ups because he was going to get to that level and stop. There were some downs and he had to pick himself up or we had to pick him up to keep him rolling. But the reason I think it was so quiet is because Willie is who he is, and this right here, he'd never want to do. He wouldn't. He's just not him. It isn't him. So for it to go quiet as it did, you know, I think it was just because of who he was. I tell people now, they'll ask questions about different things. I say, Willie McGee won a batting title in 1990 in the National League, and he was in Oakland. You know, most people don't understand that. They don't realize that. But he did. He won the 1990 batting title. He left. We traded him to Oakland, and he ended up winning the title here, and he was in Oakland. And he would never talk about it.